Hello, welcome to the video. And today we're going to be doing my reaction and rating to the Usmnt's 2023 Gold Cup. So let's begin. So I'm very pissed off right now, so I'm just going to tell you guys so like and subscribe. Um, the USMT summer is done. It is done. Basically, it is done. The only action that's going to be passing by is maybe some transfers here and there, like Christian Pulisic and Tim Wiles transfers, like those. Weston McKennie, maybe can keep an eye on him. But basically, it is done. It is done. The USMT will no longer play games this summer. Uh, we're not even going to be playing in the final. Ah, let's get straight into my review. So the USMT 2023 Gold Cup. Our group consisted of Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. So first we draw against Jamaica. We drew against Jamaica at home. At home. At Chicago. This pissed me off. That game pissed me off so much. It pissed me off. So let's start off with the lineup. Matt Turner and goal. So it was obviously back four of Tolkien, Long, Miazga, and Yedlin. That was a very poor back four. Very poor. Double pivot of Aiden Morris and James Sands. That was the only game Aiden Morris will ever start in that he started during the tournament. Then it was like on Senora at the 10 with wingers being Sendejas and I'm freaking Jordan Morris. Number 9 was Jesus Ferreira. Yeah. Um that game was very boring. First half we didn't do much other than some chances here and there that Jordan Morris absolutely fucked up. Second half, well, I'm just gonna tell you guys first half. Jamaica scored like in the 20 something minute, then they had a chance to go two up with Leon Bailey taking a penalty, but Matt Turner thankfully he saved that penalty. If we didn't save that penalty, like my goodness, a lot could have happened. A lot could have happened. Trust me, a lot. Uh, then Brandon Vasquez has tied like nearly at the end of the game. Then the next game, it was. Oh, I think it was the same starting 11. I think it was Matt Turner in goal, back four of DeJuan Jones, Jalen Neal, Miles Robinson, and Brian Reynolds. No, wait. Miazga started against St. Kitts, and Miles started against Trinidad. A double pit of Bucio and James Sands. Then it was Jordan Mihalovic at the 10, Sendejas and Cade Cowell started against Trinidad and Tobago against St. Kitts, and Christian Roldan started against Trinidad and Tobago. Then it was Jesus Ferreira at the 9. We won those games 6-0, 6-0, comfortable fashion. Um, it was mandatory to win by that. It was mandatory. You're playing at home against some freaking islands that have amateur players. You're supposed to win 6-0. Then we play against Canada. We play against Canada. I think it was the same one from the Trinidad game. I think only that Julian Gressel started at left wing. Um, we looked terrible that game. Pretty much the entire. We should have won. Like we scored at the like nearly at the end. Then like Miles Robinson gave up a penalty. He had a very poor game that game. And then it was 1-1. Then Canada was looking like they were gonna eliminate us. It was a great goal they scored, the second one. But then Gianluca Busio, it wasn't a Canadian own goal, but it was kind of looked more like Gianluca. I thought Gianluca Busio scored, but it was in Canada own goal. Then we went to penalties. Matt Turner showed up, and thankfully the U.S. players could score some penalties. Then it was against Panama, pretty similar situation. Panama in extra time looked like they were about to eliminate us. Then we tied the game. Then it goes to penalties, and then the players absolutely turned to shit when it came to penalties, and voila, the summer just came to the end. Christian Roldan and Jesus Ferreira missed penalties against Panama. Like Christian Roldan, it was pretty obvious. Like once I saw this man about to step up, I was like, my God, our summer's pretty much over already. Christian Roldan, please. I'm gonna do player ratings later. Um, Miazga had to do some unnecessary shit. And Karma's bitch. And Karma's bitch. So hopefully, I'm going to go to the player ratings right now. So, player ratings. So if I cross off a player, if I cross off any players, first I'm gonna do crossing off of players. So if I cross off any names, that means thank you. I do not want to see you on the national team anymore. Sean Johnson, I know you only started against St. Kitts, but we do not want to see you in a national team shirt again. I do not want to see you near the national team again. Uh, it was honestly a really messed up thing that you started against St. Kitts. I would have probably started Gaga Sonina. There was more going to starting Gaga Sonina in that St. Kitts game than you starting Sean Johnson. So pack your bags. We do not want you in the national team no more. Next is the Juan Jones. He did he play bad? No, but he's 26. We're not gonna use him Copa America. He's not nowhere near a team quality, so I'm gonna cross you off. Um, Aaron Long. Do I have to say this? He should have been gone years ago. He should have been gone years ago. Aaron Long gone, straight up gone. Miazga. All I have to mention is that you had to go. You scored a penalty. Good job. You looked good. But you have to go there and trash talk a player. You're gone. Like you're just gone. And then we were about to get eliminated against Panama because of you. The second goal, you defended very poorly on that second goal. You defended very, very poorly. Uh, DeAndre Yedlin, 80 something caps. Thank you, gone. We do not want to see you on the national team again. You don't offer anything to this program anymore. Thank you for your service, gone. Jackson Newell, gone. You're not good enough. You're just not good enough. Busio, Busio, if I have to say this to you, you messed up a lot in that Panama game. You had a freaking slip. Any attack that we were looking like very dangerous at, you had to mess up. Um, you're very poor. You're just gone. You're gone. You're not good enough for the national team. Alan Sonora, 27, 25, 26. I haven't seen anything from you. Gone. Gone. You're a Liga MX bench player. You're gone. Christian Oldon should have been gone a long time ago. 2021 Gold Cup was honestly his last chance. It was his last chance. Like the last edition of Gold Cup was his last chance. He didn't take it. After that, no more Christian Oldon. You're not going to return anymore to the national team. Stay away, please. Stay away. And with that penalty especially with that penalty that you decided to take against Panama, that was a dog shit penalty, and you should be gone. Alejandro Sendejas, gone. I'm gonna say this right now. You're gone. Uh, you played against Trinidad and St. Kitts and Nevis, and you played poor both of those games. Jamaica, you were poor. Canada, you were poor. You're playing us terrible sides. You gotta remember, Alejandro Sendejas, before this tournament even started, Alejandro Sendejas was expected to be our main creator, our main attacking outlet, and our main source of goals in this Gold Cup. And this man was a disappointment throughout the tournament. He should have been our star player of this group, but he failed miserably to meet up to the expectations. So he has to be gone. Like he has to be gone. Unless he somehow goes to Europe, which I don't think he will. I think he will just stay in Club America. But you're gone. You're just gone. Julian Gressel should have never been in this program in the start. Should have never had played a single match for the Usmnt. So you're gone. You're just gone. Jordan Morris, you decided to play at Stanford and decided to not go to Europe with Werder Bremen. Like a lot, you decided to mess up your career, and still you still wanted to represent the national team, and that is a very messed up thing to do. Jordan Morris, you are gone. You are just gone. Uh, you're not even good in MLS anymore. Brandon Vasquez, 24. Uh, look, I know he scored 3 goals, but what? Jazzy Zardes scored some goals in the Gold Cup as well. Last edition, he scored some goals. Look, I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's a lot of strikers that I have before Brandon Vasquez. Before even thinking of Brandon Vasquez, I have a lot of strikers. First is Florian Balogun and Ricardo Pepi. You're not gonna touch any. You're not gonna touch any of those two anytime soon or anytime during your career. Then it's like there's Spurs like Haji Wright and Jordan Peacock that I have over you, and Josh Sargent as well. Those are already five. So six string striker should be Jesus Ferreira. I have Jesus Ferreira over you. Jeremy Ebobisse has more of a reason to be on this national team over you. There's a lot of guys that I'd rather have on this national team rather than you. There's a lot. Trust me, there's a lot. So you're basically gone as well. You're gone. Like you looked so terrible. And he's having a bad season as well in MLS. Like he had one good season in MLS, then he's like dog shit in MLS. He has like 3 goals or something like that. Yeah, should have never went to the Gold Cup roster to begin with. Um, so let's talk about who should be on the A squad. Who should be on the A squad? And I'm gonna say, wait, who should be on the A squad? Basically, the only guy that should be in the A squad is Matt Turner. Basically, that's it. Uh, let's talk about some of the guys that. Let's talk about some of the guys. Gago Solina didn't play a single game. He's so young. He's like 19 years old, so you cannot say he's gone. He didn't. It's not even his fault that this happened. John Tolkien, he looks really poor against Jamaica, but considering his age and how well he's doing in MLS, he maybe should be given another chance. And he's Olympic eligible as well. So obviously, but if he wants to ever want to contend for an A team spot, I think he has to go to Europe. He has to go. Like he has to go to Europe because if not, he'll be a very mediocre player. Jalen Neal, alongside Matt Turner are probably one of those players that can leave it with their head held high after this tournament. Jalen Neal did look good on the ball. He was the only center back on this group that managed to look somewhat decent with the ball and was competent at defending. He was the only one, and this guy is a U20 player. Uh, he should like LA Galaxy did you dirty by not letting you go to U20 World Cup, and we honestly would have done much better with Jalen Neal in the U20 World Cup. Honestly, we had guys like Brandon Craig, Justin Che, and Josh Weiner. They look good, but I think Jalen Neal is just a better player than them, and we probably would have been in Uruguay maybe in that tournament if we would have had Jalen Neal. Next is Miles Robinson. Most people will say you're an A squad player, but for me, you're no longer an A squad player. Most people are gonna say I'm a casual because I just watched that Canada game where he had a horrendous game against Canada. Like I just have to say it. You gave a penalty, and I think was was he the one who touched the ball with the ball in his hand in the first half? Like Canada should have probably had a penalty, maybe, but we were kind of lucky. But he had a still very poor game for Miles Robinson in that kind of game, and also he's not a very good passer. Like I've seen Miles Robinson quite a bit with the national team, and he's never been a really good passer to me. I think I've seen Walker Zimmerman do more better passes than Miles Robinson. Like if I'm gonna be real over here, um, how many guys do I have over Miles Robinson right now? How many? And this is not prime Miles Robinson. You gotta remember, like I think I think he's kind of dropped off since the Achilles injury. So obviously, I have Jalen Neal over Miles Robinson after this tournament. Um, there's obviously the three guys: Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Carter Vickers. Those three are clear of Miles Robinson. Austin Trusty is better than Miles Robinson. I'm much sure I have Austin Trusty. So it's those five. Okay. Um, maybe not Eric Palmer Brown. Maybe not Mark McKenzie. That's 6 center backs. Maybe even Walker Zimmerman. Maybe. but he's kind of on par with Miles Robinson, so I won't count him. John Brooks, I'd rather see a return of John Brooks rather see Miles Robinson on the squad. Uh, so there's a handful of guys that I'd rather have over Miles Robinson, if I'm going to be really honest over here. Very disappointing tournament. Very disappointing tournament for Miles Robinson. His stock went down a lot. Brian Reynolds, I was expecting a lot from. I was expecting a lot. I was expecting him to be one of those star fullbacks during the tournament, but he disappointed immensely. Kind of not his fault though, because like, look, this man had to attack. He had to overlap most of the time, because our wingers couldn't create for shit. Like Alejandro Sendejas was so ineffective that we had to really bomb up Brian Reynolds during a lot of that time. Uh, so that made tracking back for Brian Reynolds much harder. So he was very poor defensively. I wasn't expecting that from Brian Reynolds, but I might give him another look with a better team, because when your main partner is Alejandro Sendejas, like, I know you're gonna have to be bombing up that wing a lot. So I kind of gonna let him go for that. James Sands, most people are gonna say he looks amazing, but honestly, he should be looking amazing against Concave opposition. Um, he was pretty good. Is he a backup six to Tyler Adams? No. I have a lot of guys over that I'd rather have at the six. So technically, right now we play a double pivot. So as starting as Tyler Adams and Yunus Musa, then it's McKennie, De La Torre, Johnny Cardoso. Much rather have him. Uh, who do I? Maybe I can include James Sands as a six-string CDM, and maybe, who knows? Aiden Morris. Let's get straight into Aiden Morris real quick over here. Played very poor against Jamaica. Played very poor. He came on as a sub against St. Kitts. After that game, he decided to just leave camp. Just leave camp for personal reasons. Maybe because he just wanted to go party for a 4th of July. Like, who knows? Uh, just for that, I would have probably sent him off the team permanently. But considering his age, maybe not. And I think he looked a little bit better than Busio. I think he did look a little better. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I know. But I might keep Aiden Morse maybe a little bit. But just because he's Olympic eligible, Gianluca Busa, I think he's Olympic eligible as well, but I wouldn't want to see him during the Olympics either. Georgi Mihailovic. Oh no. This man should have been our main creator during the entire tournament. We were expecting this man to be the creator. I was expecting this man to prove Greg Berhalter wrong. After all those years of Greg snubbing Jordan Mihailovic out of any roster possible, I was expecting this man to rise up above all expectations and just become one of our stars of the team. Did that happen during the tournament at all? No, it did not happen at all. And Jordan Mihailovic looked poor against that game against Panama. He looked very poor. This man couldn't create. This man was looking like the second coming of Sebastian Lletget. This man looks ineffective. Should no long. I think I might give him another look. Might, but he needs to be proving that he is a star. He has enough quality to be a starter in the Eredivisie. If he cannot, sorry, but you're not coming anywhere near the roster again until you can prove that you can be a consistent starter for AZ Alkmaar. Uh, Cade Cowell. Katie Cowell did have his moments during the tournament. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be really unfair if I'm gonna say Cade Cowell looks terrible. Cade Cowell at times I think he did look pretty raw. Sometimes he ran off the ball out of bounds, which is kind of annoying from Cade Cowell. However, he did have his moments. You gotta give him that. So maybe just keep it around for a bit. Maybe just keep him there. Jesus Ferreira, back to back hat tricks against Canada. He looked terrible against Canada. Panama for most of the game was ineffective until he scored that goal. Um, um, where can I say this? Jesus needs to go to Europe. He needs to go to Europe. He needs to figure out what the hell he is, whether he's a 9 or a 10, because I think he looks right as a 10. I think he's a 10. Um, he certainly has the age to improve. He certainly still has the age to improve because you can he's like 22. Brandon Basco is like nearly 25 this year. He's turning 25. So there's the Jesus Ferreira at least has the age on his side, and he at least has some performances against Caribbean Islands, but still some performances here and there. Um, but he needs to go to Europe. That's the short. That's the short and the sweet and short and simple way to explain it all. He needs to go to Europe. Um, so that's practically all for the player ratings. Only one player can go to the A squad, and that's Matt Turner, and he's already on the A squad. He's already on the A squad. Um, no, I think only Jalen Neal had his case. I think to be to at least have a solid future with the national team. Cade Cowell maybe. Cade Cowell maybe. But the other guys have some improving to do. And next, we're gonna discuss about what should have been done. Let's give a BJ quick rating over here. BJ, okay, Alan Sonyoro got injured, and Aiden Morris went home. Shouldn't you think it's a good idea to maybe say, let's say, bring in two replacements instead of one? He never did. He never did. He only brought one, and that one replacement was Jackson Neal. He replaced a number 10 with a number 6, and that led us to have only one real number 10 the entire tournament long. During the entire tournament, we had only one number 10, practically. Let's think about that right real quick. Um, you decided to leave at home Brian Gutierrez. Let's talk about what should have been done. Make it a primarily U23 roster for the Olympics. So honestly, I would have probably brought on some U20 prospects, U23 prospects to be exact. Um, George Campbell, I would have probably had a look over him because he's one of our better. So is it one of our better U23 center backs in MLS? George Campbell. I would have probably had him have him over Aaron Long for most certain. I would have probably had him. Um, there's other guys as well. Um, what can I think of right now? Nathan Harrell, maybe have a look at him because DeAndre Yedlin has 80 something caps. Uh, there's a lot. Oh my god, there's a lot of guys that I can name right now. Um, bring him some U20 prospects who were not brought to the U20 World Cup. The big two ones are obviously Paxton Aronson and Brian Gutierrez. Those are the two big ones. And you should try to bring them. Maybe you should have done. Maybe it's a good idea to bring some guys that were not brought to U20 World Cup to the Gold Cup to at least have a look at them. But you didn't. You did not want to do the. Oh my god! This just frustrates me to the living core. This just frustrates me a lot. It just does. It just does. Use this for some dual nationals. If you were so quick to bring Brandon Vasquez to the Gold Cup when he barely had like 3 something goals in MLS, he has four goals in MLS. If you're so quick to bring that guy over, there's a handful of strikers that you could. Who's from the dual national that would have brought Mauricio Cias from Pachuca. I think he's with Toluca right now. But I would have brought him. He looks. I would have brought him over to Juan Jones. Uh, other guys are Maurice Malone. I would have brought him over Brandon Vasquez any day of the week. There's a handful of guys that you could have brought. Amir Richardson, you could have had a look at him, but instead you wanted to look at a freaking John Cabusio, a City B bench player. You wanted to look at him. This squad really pissed off. The support was great. The support was great. Like the fans were great. Like Chicago, great. They brought in like 30 something K. St. Louis City nearly sold out, considering the fact, and also you're playing in St. Kitts. Considering that like 20 something K fans wanted to see you guys play against St. Kitts. Then it's the Charlotte game, like 30 something K fans. Then it was Cincinnati, sold out, nearly sold out, I think. Uh, San Diego, mostly part nearly sold out on a 30 something K stadium. And you decided to give him that. You decided to give it that roster. You decided to give that insult to the fans. This squad was a joke, and every fan knows it. BJ knows it. The U.S. Soccer Federation knows it, and this squad was a joke. And considering the fact that Greg Berhalter is coming back, we're probably not going to learn anything from this, because you're playing. This is a failure for many reasons. You're playing in CONCACAF. Panama are not hot shit. I'm just gonna say it right now. I think we destroyed them like 5-1 in Orlando during World Cup qualifying. I know that was our A squad, but who started that game? Jesus Ferreira started that game. Shaq Moore started that game, if I'm not gonna be mistaken. Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson were starting that game. Jesus Ferreira, he was starting that game, I think. Was it all our complete A roster? No, it was not. And we destroyed them like 5-1 with some A squad players. And considering the fact that you're playing a Gold Cup, and Panama are not going to take it as serious since it's not World Cup qualifying, you could have done so much more. Um, and also like you tied against Canada with 4 star players as well. Like Canada are not a deep team. They're not. They're just not. So this just makes us as a national team look bad. We're playing a World Cup at home as the hosts, and we cannot even be champions as hosts in CONCACAF. Just let let's just let that sink in. 'Cause, I know it's still the C roster. It's a C roster, but just think about that real quick. How will that make us look all over the world? How will that make us look? So I just wanted you guys to make you guys think about that. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye. And no more MLS players. No more useless MLS players, please. Thank you.